Hey y'all, it's Misha here with head wraps and budget plans. Y'all are probably wondering, yo, this girl never has on a head wrap, but that's just because my hair has been done lately, so it's been down, but don't worry, it'll all make sense soon. But I finally wanted to come and do the video of how I paid off my close to $13,000 in debt in 3 months. Now I still have a little bit over 12,000 in student loans. I lied. Actually, it's a little bit over 11,000, like $11,078, because I just made my first payment on it recently. So yes, I'm super excited about that. My student loan should be paid off in 4 months. But I wanted to tell you all how I was able to get rid of my debt to the IRS, which was a little over $2,500. My debt to like this vacation that I was gonna pay, my credit card debt, and then also some school debt where like I just had to pay for some testing requirements that were coming up. So the first thing I did following Dave Ramsey's baby steps was I took any savings that I had, any savings accounts, and I brought them down to $1,000. So in baby step 1 of Dave Ramsey's plan, he says that you should only have $1,000 in your emergency fund when you're just starting off. So after you've paid off all your debt, then you increase that emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. But when you are just in the part of paying off your debt, the first step is to have $1,000 in your savings account. So from there, I took about $3,000 from my savings account and immediately applied that to my debt, which erased a couple of debts like that, which was nice and easy, and it helped with the momentum. I will admit that I did not take my savings all the way down to $1,000 straight. I have more than that just because I just didn't feel comfortable with only $1,000. I guess once I get closer to paying off my last debt, then I'll feel more comfortable. And I know you're not supposed to be Dave-ish with Dave Ramsey, but in your own personal financial journey, you will do things that will make you the most comfortable. And to me, it just made the most sense to keep that amount in my savings until I got closer to my total payoff date. But for you, if you feel comfortable going down to $1,000 in your savings account, then do so. And any extra money that you have in your savings account, apply that to your debt off rip. Number 2 is coming up with a budget. Believe it or not, I have never written a personal budget for myself in my personal life before August of this, well, I guess it's not this year anymore, but of 2019. That changed my life because I saw how much extra money that I had left over after my 4 walls were paid for. So that includes my necessities like housing, my car and gas, food, things that I just need to survive and to make a living. I had so much money that should have been left over that was just disappearing. Once you have a budget, and it's most important to make it a zero-based budget, meaning you allot every penny from your paycheck to a specific area. And I will create a whole nother video on budgeting because I love budgeting and it is super important. But just a quick overview, make sure that you have a budget, a written budget or a budget on Excel or a budget on an app, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, and the thing that will allow you to check in the most. My budget is written right down. This is an old one, but it's written right down in this bullet journal. I take this with me everywhere before I make any financial decisions over $50. I check in with my budget just to make sure that everything is copacetic. So yes, please, please, please know that you need that budget because that is your plan, and that's going to be the thing that helps you figure out if you have any extra money or where you can cut expenses. And that leads me to number 3. You need to start cutting expenses. Where are you spending money on things that you don't need? For me, it was a $160 gym membership. I didn't go as often as I should have, and definitely not enough to justify $160 a month. There may be things in your life that you're paying for that are just super extra and you can get rid of, or there may be a whole bunch of little small things, but those small things do add up. Whatever extra expenses that you have going on that aren't producing, I guess, any income for you, or that aren't necessary for your mental or physical health, get rid of it. When I ended my gym membership, it was in August, so I was still able to work out outside if I wanted to. I'm also a yoga instructor, so I can do yoga on my own at any point. There's also so many different YouTube videos of people working out. And there's just more affordable options for gyms than the ones that I was a part of. So yes, look into different options if you're not willing to cut that expense entirely. So my hair costs around $200 every 6 weeks. That includes tips or any maintenance that I need or repairs. That's something that I'm not willing to part with because I love getting my hair done. I love my hair, not willing to do it. However, I could learn how to do it myself, and that wouldn't cost me anything. But certain expenses you might want to keep, and that's up to you. Do the math and see how much longer that keeps you from reaching your goal end date. And if it's worth it to you, then keep that expense. I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, just giving you some things that I did that helped me. Another thing that super duper helped was I was able to call my creditors, so especially for my credit cards, and you can do two things. Number one, you can call them up and let them know, hey, I want you to refund me all of my interest. And you think that sounds ridiculous because you think they won't do it, but some credit card companies absolutely do because they want to keep your business. Another thing you can do is ask for no interest moving forward for a specific time. So certain companies do that too, where they'll give you 0 interest on any new purchases, as well as erase your interest that were charged. So my Chase Sapphire card had about $600 in interest. I know. But I called Chase and they actually refunded me for 3 months, which was over $300 and then something credited back to my account. So essentially that came off of my bill, which meant that that was less for me to pay off later. And then some other credit cards, they gave me 0 interest moving forward. So if I had any balance on them, I wouldn't be getting charged interest, just what I owed from those original purchases. And so many people don't know how to do that, and I will make a video on that. I actually have my reaction video from when I called Chase because I didn't expect it to work, but that was advice that I got from the Millennial Money Makeover, which was a book that I read, which I highly recommend, but it works. So yay, do it if you can. If you're nervous about it, there's a script that I will be posting that you can just read straight from the script or keep practicing, but the worst they can tell you is no, and you lose nothing by doing that. Another thing, and one of the most important things outside of making a budget, is increasing your income. So with that being said, that might mean you apply for a higher paying position, you ask for a promotion or a salary increase from your current job or employer, or you pick up a side hustle. So what I did is I worked a lot of overtime at my job just because we get about $51 an hour in overtime. And there wasn't anything else side hustle-y that compared to the amount of money I made during that time. After those opportunities kind of left due to the season, I started doing a side hustle as an ESL teacher, teaching English online to non-native English speakers. And although that pay isn't $51 an hour, sometimes it can get up to $40 or $30 depending on the bonuses that you get. I personally work with iTutor, and I do kids and adults. However, what I have noticed is that with adults, you get more money because there's a rating system added to it. So let's say you teach 6 adults and they give you all 10, you get an extra bonus and you can end up with $30 something for 45 minutes. And then if you get an additional bonus for having no missed classes, which is an attendance bonus, on top of a bonus for teaching over 50 classes, you get additional money. So that's why I say it's not $51, but it can get close depending on where you kind of luck up. And then another thing that really helped is that I do own my own co-op. However, I do have a roommate situation going on, which means that that person covers my maintenance fees and I only pay my mortgage. So that is an extra 7 something that's in my pocket that also went to paying my bills. So if you are living by yourself, there are definitely options to get a roommate, or you can rent that extra room on Airbnb if you're comfortable with people in your space. Or if you are living by yourself, there's always that option of maybe once that lease is over to move in with family members at a cheaper cost or to live with other people. Because if you can get your cost of living down and raise your income, that's just more money to go towards paying off your debt, as well as keeping so true to your budget, because that is your guide to how you're going to pay off this debt. And it also gives you a timeline that kind of keeps you motivated. And then last but not least, I don't know if I said last or not least before, but it's really figuring out what's your why. Why do you want to get out of debt? Why do you want financial freedom? For me, it is so that my parents are able to retire with dignity and freedom to do what they want, knowing that they have the support of me, their daughter. So my parents are some years away from retirement. However, I want to start this process now because it takes time, but I also really want to be able to give them back half, even if it's just half of what they've done for me over the course of my life. And that's also inclusive of my aunt, who is like my second mother, and I wouldn't be the woman I am without them. That's my long-term goal. That is the thing that has motivated me and has kept me from going to restaurants, because I love to eat out. Again, cutting those expenses. Restaurants and clothes shopping were the major expenses for me. But then I also have a short-term goal, which is I want to bring my grandmother to Ghana, a full expense paid trip on me. So that's another motivating factor for me and another reason why. And then I do have a little sister who I want to help provide for when it's time for her to go to college, because I know how that struggle can be, and I just want her to have fun and not have to worry about paying for books or paying for a new laptops if that occurs. So yes, those are the tips. Emergency fund, $1,000 in savings. Make sure you create a budget, a zero-based budget. Cut down on your expenses ASAP, which might include letting go of those subscriptions or memberships that we love so dearly, and calling up our credit card companies if you have credit card debt and asking them to credit you back some of your money. Like, sis, working extra, make some extra money. You need that extra moolah. And of course, figuring out what is your why, what is going to keep you motivated, because although this journey is super rewarding, and you learn a lot about yourself, it can be difficult, and it does require a shift in your mindset, and that why will always keep you grounded and keep you where you need to be firmly, because your friends are going to call you and be like, come out, you're no fun anymore, you don't want to spend any money. People are going to say to you, you're being cheap. People might even say, oh, you're working so much, you're being greedy, because they don't understand the journey that you're on, and that's okay for them. They want to be regular, they want to be broke for the rest of their lives, that's fine. But I know I will be a millionaire at one point, a multi-millionaire at some point in the future, and it's important for me to keep my why at the forefront, because it's so easy to be pressured by society to do things that are outside of your why. So yes, that is how I was able to pay off debt so quickly. I'm still in my debt journey, paying off my student loans, and I'm following that same process as we're going through this. Again, I do have I do have more than $1,000 in my savings account right now. I will take it down to $1,000 once I get closer to paying off my student loan debt. And then from there, I will build that back up to, they say 3 to 6 months of your expenses. I'm probably gonna go for 6 months just because that might make me feel better, and then get into some investing at that same time after I hit the 3-month mark, following Dave Ramsey's baby steps on this journey to financial freedom. So in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed and stick to your budget, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.